Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 3 of my Halloween series. Ooh, spooky. So I'm actually re-recording this intro. I had originally started with build palettes um for Halloween because I promised you guys that last time. However, with that in the same video as all the other stuff I do, this video, the video was it was too long. It's already a little long, but it was way too long with the build palette. So that's gonna get tacked on to my next installment, which is the bonus Halloween episode. I asked you guys on Twitter if you'd rather have a Bexilla build or if you'd rather have an additional Halloween episode, and you guys said Halloween, so that will be coming out next week. So stay tuned for that. This episode, I will be teaching you guys how to spookify your pre-existing Minecraft houses. Um, so it's a little tutorial-y. It's lots of tips and tricks and what have you, and it's a little long, so grab some snacks. Um, I don't know why I didn't think that smushing 3 tutorials into one video wouldn't be a long video. I lack foresight. I I really, really do. So I'm sorry that this one's kind of long, but I hope you'll stick it out to the end because there's some really cool stuff. And I hope you like it. So I have 3 examples of a standard Minecraft house. I have this lovely house. This is a house designed by Crafting Mantis. There will be links to her stuff in the cards up in the corner, as well as on my end screen and down below in my description box. And this, I believe, is called the Log Cabin Farmhouse tutorial. It's a really easy tutorial to follow, and the build itself is fairly simple and symmetrical. And it's also done in such a way that you can easily futz with it and make it your own. So it's a really good tutorial. Definitely check it out. But this is our first house that we're going to be spookifying. The second house that we're going to be spookifying is over this way. This is a house I made specifically for this video, because I thought it would be really good to have to spookify a modern house. That's not necessarily as easy as, say, a cabin or something with really dark colors. So I made this guy. I was actually really nervous making this guy because I haven't made a modern house in like years. And I think the last time I made one, it was in a cliffside. So I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out, though. I think it turned out really cool, and I'm excited to spookify it. Also, for all of these houses, there is no interior. Nothing's done on the inside except maybe the floor. Um, but I think with both of the tutorials that we're going to be borrowing for this video, I think they'd be fairly easy to decorate and do interiors on. So, the third house that we are going to spookify is by Sunfire SG, and it is a desert starter house tutorial. And I really like this tutorial because it's simple and easy to follow, but it's also just incredibly dynamic. Um, so you can make a really dynamic build that doesn't necessarily look like you've just started playing Minecraft or you're not a very good builder. And it's still pretty easy to do. So, I definitely suggest you check out his tutorials. And we're also gonna spookify this guy, because deserts don't really make me think spooky. They're gonna, though. So, let's get started over with crafting Mantis's build. See how we can spook it up. So, here is crafting Mantis's build. It's very nice and lovely. I actually have a book over here because as I finish building it, I decided I better write down my ideas. So, spookification to-dos. First, we're gonna crumble the foundations. So, if you see, her foundations here are made out of smooth stone and andesite, and it's very smooth and very solid looking. But we're gonna mess that up. We're gonna get some cobble. Gonna get some cobble stairs and some mossy cobble stairs. We're gonna make this look a little less structurally sound. There we go. That's a little less sound looking. Next up, we've got age and crack the walls. Alright, so for this, we're going to grab some spruce stairs. And the easiest way to do this is to do some stairs that are facing upwards, and then immediately after that do some stairs that are facing downwards. And this makes the wall look like it has a crack that goes up like that, and it's connected that way. Like that. So we're going to do that all over the place. Okay, so the walls have been pretty cracked up. It adds a lot of texture and ages it up. So I'm pretty happy with that. What's next? Damage the windows. Alright, so we're going to damage them, and we're also going to discolor them. She used some nice, lovely clear paint. We're going to use brown. We're going to use some dark gray. That looks really good, actually. If you have a stair that doesn't connect and yeah, that actually looks really good. There we go. We've got some busted up windows. Did I get the front ones? Yeah, I did. Those windows that are just not okay anymore. Somebody done threw stuff in them. What's next? Add creepy banners. I can do that. There is a reason why I have purple, by the way. Not just because I'm a Looney Tune, although I might be. I'm also going to add this trapdoor along the bottom of here so that I can hang these like that. I think that'll do. It's just a hint of it. It's not super apparent. It's just a little bit of something extra. Alrighty. What else do we have? Bend the chimney. Now that seems like an odd one, but let's do that real quick, and I'll show you why that's a really fun thing to do to make something creepy. There we go. That's a little twisted and weird. And, you know, add cracked stone in there too to make it even more odd looking. But that gives it this weird feeling because that's not how chimneys do, usually. I also didn't put a campfire at the top because I don't really want it to look like there's life happening in this house at the moment. But you could potentially do something similar to that over there, and then it could potentially look like there's a witch living in here that's up to some sort of mischief. But, you know, it's kind of a preference thing. But because that's an oddball shape, it kind of gives this house a little bit of, why is it like that? That's not normal. You know, and it's a little bit more impactful than our banners and broken windows. Although, loving the broken window. Alright, let's see what we got on my to-do list now. Reduce the supports. So this is kind of along the same lines as crumble the foundations. We want this house to look like it's old, it's beat up. People have been doing things to this poor house that should not have been done to this poor house. There we go. Now, the support beams match how cracked the walls are, and that's... Oh, hold on. Hold on a second. I have more ideas. Hold on. I thought I was done. I'm not. Yeah. There we go. Now the support beams kind of match how dilapidated the walls are and the windows. I think we can also get rid of some shutters. But you know, there's your general idea of how crumbled you can make this house look. Now that we have our beams matching our walls, I reckon we can add a spooky tree. What do you think? Let's add a spooky tree. We go. Nice spooky tree. So, let's see if we have anything else on my to-do. Damage the roof, front porch. Now, she has a really cool roof idea where her roof slants down into the roof of the front porch. I think I'm gonna mess this up a bit. So, let's go ahead, knock this down a good bit. There we go. That looks pretty beat up, doesn't it? Instead of... do a comparison real quick. Instead of this nice, pristine, gorgeous cabin, we now have a dilapidated, beat up, collapsing cottage. I think we have one other little bit. Glowing side accent. That's what it was. I knew I had missed something. So the purple was there for a reason. Let's grab purple paint. I think actually this guy. Crafting Mantis has this beautiful side detail on her farmhouse, and I love this. I think that's such a really simple but beautiful way to add detail. So I thought I would take advantage of how pretty that looks. Make something a little spooky and a little eerie. and give this kind of an eerie purple glow. I think I might change out a couple of the windows to be a bit more purple too, just to kind of play with that a bit more. Do that on the other side. Change out a couple windows. There we go, a little bit of eerie purple, never hurt anybody. Now, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. You could potentially hang some something glowing from the tree to make it real eerie too, but yeah, I'm thinking that looks pretty good. I mean, I don't know, guys. I think this would be a really cool spooky house to stumble upon. But if you noticed before, there's something in my book that says a surprise extra bit. So I have an extra thing that I want to do to this poor house to really sell spooky, creepy nature of it. So I am going to look down at my little green concrete powder that I set here specifically for this purpose. When I look back up, you're gonna see something cool. Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm so excited. Are you ready? Whoa, what? I bet you guys weren't expecting a giant spider. But now there is one. So there. I decided, the cracked porch roof that's like collapsed looks really cool on its own, but I decided what if something specifically had made it that way? And I made a giant spider. Isn't she gorgeous? I think she's quite pretty. Did forget to marking a little more visible. There we go. And I think she's laid claim to this house, and I think she'll really be happy here. I made a giant spider web along the roof. It's a little strange looking, just because it's hard to get those angles, especially when it's going multiple diagonals on a slant across a roof. But overall, pretty happy with this. And I think you could definitely stick with the non-spider infested house. But I just wanted to have a little something extra super spooky and fun. And I think also you could go nuts with spider webs now because there's a giant spider, so you know, of course there'd be spider webs just everywhere. She has babies, you know, they have to have a place to live too. But yeah, this is, again, this is a design by Crafting Mantis. Well, not the spooky version, the original. Over here, this lovely, lovely house is by Crafting Mantis. There will be a link up in the corner, there'll be a link in my end screen, and there will be a link down in the description below to both her channel and the tutorial for this house specifically. And there's your before, and there's your after. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. So, what do you say we go spookify a modern house? So here we have my quaint modern house design. It's a whole bunch of rectangles with giant windows. And I decorated the outside of this house how I would decorate it if I decorate it. You gotta decorate it. That was really stupid. I decorated this kind of the same way I would if I were like on a server or something and I wanted the outside to look nice. Got bushes, trees, we have this lovely patio. But for the purposes of spookifying this lovely house, I didn't add any of the trees or bushes or life, really. And I believe the first thing on our to-do list is kill the plants. So we're about halfway there. I am going to do a little bit of some extra stuff here though. So we're gonna kind of spooky sound. Make this dead tree even deader. This one is just a button. Actually, we'll leave a small stump there, and then we'll have a button on the other side. We'll leave that guy as a button. We've got some dead bushes to go where our bushes had once been. Some spider webs too, why not? There we go. I think we're gonna take our mailbox flag? Are those called flags? Mailbox flags? We're gonna take that off of there. Don't need that anymore. No outgoing mail from this house, no sir. And let's see what else we got. Darken it up. So this one's kind of intense if you are doing this in survival. But I think it'll have a really cool effect. So give me just a second here. Okay, so I realize that's a lot of work, changing out every single block on the exterior of your house to make it a darker tone. Um, that's a bit time consuming, and I get that. But imagine if you're on a server and all of your server mates are used to seeing this, and then they log on and it looks like this. Like, how eerie is that? Just darkening up the colors. Ugh. It makes such a huge difference. So I realize that's really labor intensive, but if you sneak onto your server when nobody else is around, it could be really cool and worth it. So now we're going to board up the windows. So unlike crafting Mantis's house over there, we're not actually going to roughen it up or add a lot of texture or even destroy the windows. We might break some of them, but most of them are going to be just boarded up. So let's do that real quick. Alright, so the windows have been boarded up because it's a. Oh, I forgot to board up the door. Hold on. There we go. Now all of the windows have been boarded up and it's beginning to look I like how I want it to. Now, caution tape. That should be fun. Alright, let's get to that real quick. I wonder what's going on here. Wait, is that blood? So, this is creepy in a different sort of way from that guy. That guy looks haunted and old. This is a new house. Why is it all dark and boarded up? So, my idea for this is that you could do kind of like a paranormal activity take, because they're in a nice, lovely house. You could have just kind of this house in the neighborhood, something horrible's happened, slasher flick sort of thing. You know, some poor real estate agent's gonna get stuck trying to sell this house, and everybody in town knows that that little boy's head spun 360 degrees around and nobody wants to step foot in this place, so she's just stuck with it, sort of thing. And it's not as Halloween spooky per se, but if this is more of your style anyways, then I think this is a pretty good alternative. But, of course, there's a surprise extra. So, I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna look down at my green concrete. And when I look back up, things are gonna be weird. Well, you know, I don't think there's any point trying to sell the place now that a pit from heck has opened up to swallow it and take the evil that is here back to where it belongs. But, you know, if you are interested in purchasing this fine establishment, you know, contact Sally, the real estate agent, I suppose. I like the idea of a real estate agent trying to sell this house where something horrible has obviously happened and just being stuck with it forever. I think that's actually like a plot point in the first season of American Horror Story. But let's mess with the time real quick. That's not the correct land. There we go. I think if you are gonna do this, and with night in mind, maybe do like a gray. Just so it's a little easier to see. But, I mean, the effect is there either way. It's, you know, the evil house is getting swallowed up. And I meant to show this house off at night before I actually did the giant chasm there. But, you get the idea. And again, you don't have to do the giant pit for it to be really spooky. I mean, it was pretty spooky before with just the caution tape and the boarded up windows. I just like to take the concept and push it even further. Like, you don't have to build a giant spider. It looked spooky on its own. But, you know, what fun is that to not, you know, go 110% and push it to the limit? So, this is the modern house where something horrible happened and some evil lives that's getting sucked back down into heck. So there you go. On to the next. And the next thing on our list is a desert starter house by Sunfire SG. It's really cute and dynamic and easy to decorate and make it really neat. And it's like the least spooky house, I think, on my list, which is why I chose it, because a log cabin, you can make that spooky. That I built so I could turn it spooky. This, This might give me a run for my money, but we'll see. Let's head on over here. Again, just like in the modern house, I didn't add any of the plant life. This one is barren because I knew I was probably going to kill off the plant life anyways. So let's see what we have on our to-do. Crumble it up. So this has a good bit of sandstone, but it also has some smooth sandstone and some real solid looking, let's see, chiseled and cut sandstone. So we're gonna kind of crack this up, make it look a little less solid. Alright, that's looking a little bit more chewed up and a little less stable. This looks more like, you know, the wind has had its way with it and it's been here for a while, which I like. So, that's step one. Let's see what else is on our to-do list. Sunken terrain. Alright, so, I like the idea of this, to make it look like it's been buried by the sand multiple times. The earth has started to sink in. Everything's just gone wrong. So we're gonna sink this house in a bit. Okay, so we've buried this guy a little bit. Not a whole lot. You could really steep up these dunes and make them even taller than the house. You could bring them in a lot closer to the house and make the house like half buried if you wanted to. And if you're really into terraforming, you could slab it and stare it up to your heart's content and really get this thing looking kind of interesting. But that's what we're going to do for now. Now, remove a chunk of the upper ceiling and floor. So, we really want this thing to look damaged? Then let's damage it, shall we? There we go. Now it's real beaten up and you can even see inside of it just a little bit. Let's see what else we have on the agenda. Dead trees and spooky banners. Okay, so we have some banners, and I've placed them in some interesting places. I've put them in the doorways, because the doors are gone. They've disappeared. And then I've put a lot of them over on this side, because I like the idea of there having been clothes in here, and when this got destroyed, they got pushed out over here. And so there's just some banners that have have kind of just landed wherever they are. And this gives it some dimension, because the original got a lot of dimension from leaf blocks and vegetation. This needs some dimension in a different way, so that's what the banners are for. And we're gonna break the fences. I spelled that all kinds of weird. We're gonna break up these fences, get them out of here. Gonna make it look like these things are just barely hanging on. I think we're also gonna break some of these trap doors as well. Alright, I think that'll do it for this fences and the trapdoors. I did come up here and damage the upper floor, which I wasn't planning on doing, and then as I was going through here knocking out fence posts, I realized, oh, I could make a really cool upper floor. So, did that as well. And I think that's this. Now, it doesn't look too horribly spooky. It looks very worn down, very beat up. Let's change the time real quick. Yeah, I mean it's spookier, but it still just looks kind of damaged and worn down. You could see this in any abandoned desert location and it wouldn't necessarily scream Halloween at you, just oh, a sandstorm that was really, really bad came through here. And then its friends, the 10 other sandstorms, also came through here. And now this is what we're left with. Not, you know, super Halloween-ish. But I'm going to look down at my green concrete here and give you one last surprise little bit. And we'll see how it goes. Not centered. Gosh darn it. Pretend I'm centered. Pretend I didn't have to shovel around. Pretend I was centered. There we go. Now I'm centered. I'm not. Shush. Pretend I'm centered. Oh, this got creepy, didn't it? So, for this one, I wanted to play off the fact that we are in such beige territory and go for some lighter colors and play with that. So now we have some bones that are kind of rib caged up around this side of the house. They are actually encompassing part of the house. And then we have one of my creepy hands, which you've seen from over there, who has been put over here. And then we also have one of them that's mostly buried, but his fingers are still sticking out. And then we have the mouth of a skull. Imagine the rest of the skull is buried, but because his mouth is open, some of the sand has fallen in. You can see his teeth. And this kind of goes with the house has sunken in. So there was a shift somewhere underneath the earth where we can't see it. And the house got sunken in and fell into this ribcage. And you could actually like make the sand dunes massive if you wanted to. Really have this guy having been buried in. But this is the even more intense, spooky version of this desert house. Let's see what it looks like during the day. I mean, it's not as spooky during the day, but it's still pretty spooky. Especially I love this angle, just like reaching up around the house somehow. I love it. So this is Desert Spooky House. We've got Modern Spooky House over here. And then we have your standard cabin farmhouse having been taken over by a giant spider. So I hope this helps you guys out with ideas for what to do with your own houses, especially if you're on a server and you want to do something festive for Halloween. Um, I hope this, it at the very least, gives you a starting point. Um, there's a lot of really good things you can do: crumbling foundations, kind of distressing the walls, that sort of thing. You don't have to go giant and have a giant lovely spider lady, but you could. Thank you guys so much for sticking to the end of the video. I hope you liked it. Um, I hope that you guys found it informative and, there's some tips and tricks that you guys might use. If you do, take screenshots, send them to me on Twitter and Instagram. My handles are down below. I'd love to see what you guys do. Um, if you liked it or found it informative, hit that like button. It helps me out a good bit. And subscribe, because there's one more episode of Halloween coming out really soon and you don't want to miss it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye. Spooky. That was really dumb. Goodbye.